What's up, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Let Us Cook podcast. I'm gonna be your host, Bacon Lord, and with me is my co-host, the man with 10 toes, Tento. How you doing, Tento?
I don't know if I got 9 toes or not, bro. You never confirmed this.
I've seen him.
You, whoa,
Yeah, you don't remember?
yeah,
You don't remember? You showed me. I was like,
I
whoa, that's 10 of them for sure.
definitely came in with sandals on during the local one day.
Yeah,
Definitely did.
I was counting them up, and I counted 10.
Crazy.
Yeah,
But yo, guys, episode 2, we thank you guys so much for the support that we got on episode 1. But today's episode will be more about Combo Breaker. We had
yeah.
that stat this past weekend. It was a really nice event. Love seeing everybody. Got to see Bacon too.
hmm
It was just really a good ass time because like the FGC for me personally is just like it's just a great way to have that release. And this is actually the first weekend where I did not play a single game at all. I literally just vibed the whole weekend. I realized I did not play a single match of any fighting game that entire weekend.
That's crazy. I could not be me. I was gaming. I was playing a lot of games this weekend. Yeah, I mean, tournaments they're so fun for me, right? Even if like I'll say this to people that are like, hesitant about like attending like an offline event. Just like, dude, just treat it like a fighting game convention, you know? Just go there, hang out, chill with a bunch of people. But, even if you're not there necessarily to compete, or you are there to compete, but you don't know how far you'll get, just go there, play your best, and the vibes at Combo Breaker especially are always top tier.
Yeah, it's just like because somebody made a good point. Because they were comparing Evo to Combo Breaker, and to not to take away from Evo, Evo is still a great event. It's basically like our FIFA World Cup, I would say. Kind of like that. It's a bit,
It's got
but
that prestige for sure.
yeah, it's definitely got the prestige. But like, at Evo on Sunday, we just in the arena, and they actually break down all the setups and whatnot. From after Friday and Saturday is pretty much the last day to play, and then on Sunday is just over. Whereas like places like Combo Breaker, they have a bring your own controller room that you can actually like
Mm.
play games in and have a setup for and whatnot. And it's really nice because a lot of people still, and they even have it still on Sunday because a lot of people still want to play video games or whatnot, and not everyone's looking at the top 8. And CB does a pretty good job of doing that. Like CB has a lot of games to play on the side and
Right.
just explore and whatnot. So it's really good that they have that. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, like the Combo Breaker format, especially. Like, I don't know how many people listening to this have been to Combo Breaker, the newest venue, especially. But it's literally like it's like a giant warehouse, and there's like 10 stages. With games going on, it's kind of crazy. Just how much they got. They have 10 stages in the main ballroom, and they got like 3 stages for side events. So yeah, there's just like everywhere you look, there's some like there's games being played. Everyone's getting stream time. I think the bracket ran well for the MK guys. I feel. I know there was some drama about like seeding at one point, but that's kind of inevitable when you have a big major like this. But yeah, like I think overall, like my experience there was great. We had some bomb ass tacos. That was fun.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
tacos are great. Everyone liked the tacos. Even
yeah,
Tong. Shouts to Tong. Tong even liked his tacos.
yeah, you got to know about the tacos if you're in
Tacos
the
are great.
NRS scene, you want the combo breaker, for sure. Um,
Definitely had 'em.
yeah, and it's just I just love playing this game offline. I feel like when you're playing it online a lot, MKLN
We all were,
can kind of
Bacon. We
drag a
all
little
were.
bit. But like for the first year of this game's life, I was playing offline more than online, and I fucking love this game offline.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
That's how it is for most fighting games. Like the online, it just doesn't have the same feel. It's not
right.
that same feeling.
It's good. The netcode's good, but it's not necessarily the same,
Because
right?
like there's still have input delay, input lag, and then like there's always people that be like, I will react to that short hop offline
hmm
because you can literally see it a couple frames earlier, and those couple
Right,
frames to make a big difference and whatnot.
for
So it's
sure.
always that, but like I actually having that debate with you. Actually, bring this up with you real quick. Like the translation, like how
Oh, you want to talk about
common
this?
it is. Hmm?
I think I know what you're talking about. Keep
Like
go on.
like when it comes to the online warriors going offline, I feel like it's really it's kind of rare for you to be extremely good online. And I'm talking about like Mighty Unjust level where
hmm
they're winning every goddamn ESL and not do as well offline. Like I feel like that's rare to have. Like to be that good online where you're running everything, and then you go into your first offline event and then not doing that well. I feel like
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's just
Yeah,
not a
I think people like overrate the difference, I think, from online to offline. But it's real. Like my take has always been, yes, there is an adjustment to be made when you go from primarily playing online to an offline events. But I've always taken the stance that if you're a good enough player to do well online, you're a good enough player to make those adjustments, right? Like it's not impossible, but you do, and those adjustments aren't going to be like, yeah, you got to play for like a year and then you'll finally know. No, it's like, okay, get to the venue a little early, and play like a set offline to get used to the monitors and just kind of feel it out, right? It's not like a major adjustment, but there are some things that work a little better offline or don't work as well offline compared to online. And you have to make that adjustment. It's a real thing to do, but I don't think there's like any top online players that like can't do it, right? To me, if anything, it would be a nerves thing more so than your play because I mean it's it's different. It's definitely a difference, but it's totally manageable for a top online player to do. But yeah, I don't know how deep you want to get into the subject or
yeah. Because I was really just thinking about what you had just said. It's just like
right.
it's just so many. It's so many things you have to think about on those aspects. Like for me personally, like I'm gonna give an example for MK player like Connie Mani. Big shout outs to Connie Mani. I believe they just won Rip's event or PC or PlayStation 4
Hmm.
for like $3,000.
Damn.
And that's an EU player that's been dominating over there and doing very well in those online tournaments. And there's I believe that they're 80% or 90% confirmed for Evo. And to me, when I see them offline, I need them to get at least get top 16 at Evo for me to consider them a good player. So I can really just get my finalization on them. If they do anything less than that, I might have to say it's a fluke. I just might.
I
It's
don't
like
know, man. I don't know about
like
that.
like not okay, not fluke's not a good word. More time to adjust. Like I said, like that's more of like a personal thing for me is like if you're like I said, he has been dominating EU. I mean, like any grand finals and any like top three situation, I have not seen him not in top three.
Hmm.
And at Evo, like I need to see him try to. I need to see him in top 16, like for me to be like, okay, guys, got it for real.
I mean,
That's why I need.
I don't like putting that expectation on someone because I don't think anyone's defined by one tournament, right? And we talk about like the importance of like results, like online versus offline, right?
Mhm.
And people talk. There's been a lot of talk about like, oh, offline online events are like just as prestigious as offline, with like rollback and like how much money is being put into a
Yes,
lot of
and I
online
I can definitely
circuits.
agree with that. I can definitely agree with that.
And it's hard for me to agree with that, right? Because like even because to me, like I mean, I came into the scene with Injustice, right? Like before we had good netcode, and I still view like these big offline majors as like the prestigious events to win, right? So like I can look at you as a player and see you online and be like, damn, like this dude's good as fuck, right? I can recognize it, but to me, it's all about those offline events still, right? Like I love to see players that I can see the talent online for sure, but I'm gonna hold an offline top eight medal above any online placements, right? That's just how my brain works, right? Like
I can agree with that.
and you can look at it in other sports. Like we could acknowledge that a certain player is like super super good, but they don't have rings, right?
Yeah,
And that's not saying that they're bad. That's not even saying that every player that has a ring is automatically better than them, but they are less accomplished
yeah,
in
of
that
course.
sense,
I definitely agree with that. Like for
right?
example, another player I would give an example is Dismantle X. He's a Dragon Ball player, Dragon Ball Fighters. He was very dominant online. He came up in the online scene when COVID happened, and then his first offline was CEO 2021, where he won CEO 2021. And that was like for me, that was a big thing because it's like,
For
wow,
sure.
it is a case where a player is straight up, doing the online thing, but still capable of showing that offline. And that's why I love to see it. And that's why, like, I know you said you can't define it from one tournament, But if like in this case for like, and I'm just speaking specifically for Kanimani, when they've been doing this for almost like 2 years now, I'm expecting a big performance at offline like this one.
Right, and that's a game like Dragon Ball, right, which does not have great netcode, right, and that's
Yeah,
still that performance online still translates.
yeah,
And I think one thing that's exciting, like I know we'll probably talk about later on the show about the guys that didn't travel to this event, as I think that's a topic worth discussing and something that the
hmm
community's been talking about. But what I think it is exciting is that the people that are traveling to events right now are online warriors, right? Like almost everyone in the top eight for MK11 here at Combo Breaker, those are also guys that have been grinding it on these online events, right? Now we're at this stage where we're seeing a lot of players that made their names in the online circuits coming to offline and coming to these majors. And I don't look at these guys and I think like, damn, they're not as good as they were online. Like I still see how it all translates, right? But even then, even if you talk to them, there's just little things like you're probably not getting shimmied by Nightwolf 1-1 as much offline. You're probably teching throws a little better offline. Just these small things that just kind of make the game like a little cleaner to play. And I think I think for most of them it's a benefit, right, being offline as compared to online.
definitely.
So even with these online warriors, there's a chance that those differences between online and offline means they're better offline. you know?
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely what I can see too. Because it's like 9 times out of 10, they're improving because they can react to stuff
Right.
faster. Things are more apparent. Like I definitely agree with that, which is why I say like
Yeah.
more like that. That's why I expect more of them when they do come offline for the first time. And bringing up that point you had said that a lot of these players are online warriors. We see OD Full Auto, Gambler, Euphoric, Liddy.
Just
These four players specifically didn't have the best of placements before COVID, and then
right.
COVID hit, and then they got increasingly better. Yeah, they're definitely in that
Yeah,
case. So I definitely see your case for that.
and they're also players that you can expect to see in just about every online tournament. Like I don't know where they find all these tournaments. I'm gonna be honest, but they're in every top eight you watch online.
Mhm.
Like, it's kind of crazy.
Yes,
But
yes.
speaking of these players, you want to get into this top eight?
Let's get into the top eight.
Yeah.
Actually,
So our plans for this episode, we're gonna really talk about this top eight a lot, and we're gonna go through every set that's played. I got notes. We're gonna talk about it a little bit. Now, when I was rewatching this top eight and take notes, um, I couldn't help but look at my notes as just kind of gassing up the players that won because there was not a lot of super competitive sets in this top eight, right? Like
yeah.
the first four sets were all 3-0s. Um,
Uh,
so we're gonna be gassing up the winners a bit. That's not to say that it wasn't high level because it obviously was. I mean, the two best players in the world were at this event. Um, but yeah, I think let's just get into this first match, which was Scorpion Prox taking it over full auto 3-0. And what jumps out to you when you were watching this set, Tento?
um. So watching this, that was actually the set I wanted to watch the most because if I was being honest, watching that whole top eight. So if you guys didn't know, Sonic Fox and Hayate both came to the tournament, but they dropped out at MK because Hayate wanted to focus on Guilty Gear and Sonic wanted to focus on Tekken and Skullgirls, which is understandable.
Right.
But those are two heavy hitters that we wanted to see go against the Twins because we know Sonic is capable of taking out a Twin. They definitely proved that to us at Evo last year. And Hayate is one of those players that I haven't been playing, but his reputation is so strong that we know that he is definitely going to be able to be a contender.
Right.
So when they had left the picture, we had to be real. I'm going to be honest. I'm like, okay, who's left that can actually take out a Twin? So we had, in my opinion, Gambler was the highest choice, but Otto was definitely a person who I wanted to see how he did specifically against the Twin because, he is the best in the world, in my opinion. And he won CEO 2022 with
Hmm.
All Sindel. That is a character where people
Yeah.
say, oh, she's not good offline. And he did that. He won the whole tournament with her at CEO 2022. So I specifically want to see that match. The way how that match turned out definitely was, I would say, yeah, it was a bit of a wash, but it's definitely something Otto was going to look back at and I feel like he's going to perform better. Would I say he's going to beat him next time he sees him? I don't know, but definitely I see some improvement that can happen from that set
Yeah, like I don't want to be super negative on Full Auto, right? Because like this is
at all.
obviously a super difficult opponent. But I don't know. Like for me, when I was watching Full Auto play, like he was playing so well throughout pools and top 24, and I just thought he wasn't playing to his standard in top eight. Like it was a little bit sloppier. There's a couple of drops, and there's a lot of missed opportunities that I saw. Obviously, I don't think he's a bad player at all. I think he more than earned the chance of winners top eight, and I think going into this, I agree with you. I thought he was a contender to really take it to the Twins, but just there was a lot of he was a lot of drops from him in this top eight. And this particular set, I mean, one big note I took was this looks like a rough matchup for Sindel. Like win push looks oppressive against her. It just seems like it's hard for her to kind of get going. And
Definitely.
yeah, and also a big note that I took is that Scorpion Proc's movement is the best movement I've ever seen from an NRS player in any NRS game. The amount of pressure that he's able to put on people just through like his wave dashes and movement is insane. Like there was a moment in the set where Full Auto woke up three when Scorpion Prox was like a mile away from him. But he did that because he felt so pressured that
Like he was going
Prox,
to wave
yeah,
dash
he could
and
just be there in a moment's notice. That he's waking up when he's nowhere in sight, and it was crazy to me. And that's gonna happen so much this top eight as we
I
kind of
know
go through it.
exactly what I'm talking about
People,
too. I was
yeah, yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah, where people are just whiffing buttons in neutral. Uh, when Prox and Euphoric are nowhere near, or Nicholas are nowhere near them, because they're just scared that they're gonna be there. They're gonna be in that spot, and yeah, I mean that's to me the scariest thing about these two players is just their movement is absurd.
Yeah, movement like that is like you literally getting crossed up so bad. Like we just said, Full Auto woke up three full screen because he expected Nicholas, I mean Scorpion Brox to go in
Right.
and actually be in his face, but no, he waved dash backwards, and I was like, Christ. And then Fusion being Fusion, can easy react with that with back two to get a full combo is just even crazier. But yeah, it's definitely one of those like I was just say was the first time, but I feel like it would be better the second time.
Yeah,
Um
and Prox was so confident on his spacing on that forward four. Like so many
yes.
times this set that Sindel would with a forward four, and he just jabs her out of the up three part. Right, and that's something that like a lot of people would don't even go for with punishes on forward four because they're so scared of that second follow up, and it's such a hard string to deal with because the way the hitbox works on it and the pushback it has on it. But Prox was just so confident, just standing at the perfect spot, and kind of just ran him over. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, it was bad. It was definitely bad. Um and then when I'm moving on to the other match, it was Sunio versus Nicolas, was it not? No.
Next one was Nicholas and Euphoric. This is the
You
other.
realized
This is
before,
the
yeah, it's
other
right,
winners match.
Because Gambler was upset by Euphoric. That's right. Gambler was upset by Euphoric before that match.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I gotta say this right now. Gambler, I'm gonna call him out on it again. He has this thing where he just needs to be in the loser side to play in the tournament. I don't understand why. He has done this not only for Texas Showdown, he won Texas Showdown for losers, but a couple other online events. He has lost like round one in losers and then wins the whole event. I don't know what it is about him, but he just feels he did the same thing for MKX, bro.
He
He
did.
lost in freaking winners finals and then
Right.
won the whole event.
Yeah.
Like I just don't understand.
Well,
He just gets stronger around there.
Well, I think part of the reason is that Euphoric's really fucking good. Um,
Yes, frankly.
and Euphoric, offensively, I think is a super strong player. Like his mix is all really good. I think that partially leads into a big note that I took in this set is that Nicholas played this against his Kano super defensively, especially when we compare his Fujin to Scorpion Prox Fujin. There was a lot of defensive movement. He wasn't like running him down as much, just kind of backing up, playing with wind push, playing with back two, whenever he was in like a shimmy situation where the choice would be to like go up and hit a button or back up and create space, it was always creating space. Um, and it was very interesting to see him take such a methodical style against Kano. And again, just like with Sindel's forward four with Prox, Nicholas was outspacing the Kano forward one super hard.
It was just in that match, it was just really, I feel like it was, I don't even want to say it like that, but damn near outclassed. Like it was just Nicholas' awareness of everything and everything, anything that your foreign was doing was just like these twins are so strong, guys.
They're
We
so
we
good.
all know that they're the guys to beat right now because they're top two. And then I don't even consider, like, I know they're individuals, but I consider them they're a unit because they're Chile.
Yeah, no,
Like
no, no. They're not. They're not twins. They're the same prodigy that spawned twice.
like
Okay.
literally like it's really like when I see a Chilean grand finals, I don't see Nicolas or Scorpion Fox with Chile won. That's the bottom line people need to
Yeah,
know. I don't
yeah,
care which twin wins specifically. The bottom line is both of those boys are going home with the money because they're brothers. That's the thing about it. I don't ever look at it as the individual one. I look at them as they, like, the Chileans won. That's just simply how it is.
yep,
So as we all, like I said, we all know that they're the boys to beat and they're the big dials right now. We all know that they can bleed as well. But it's just the fact of the matter of, like, it's so hard to get them. You're starting to notice players like get there with time. Like the people score. Do you know the short list of people who actually beating the Twins? Like that's the crazy thing about it.
it's
We had
not big. It's like Rewind and
Kakoi was the only person for
Koi
like
did it.
6 months originally
Right.
that beat Nicholas in CEO 2121. Then Rewind did it.
And no
And
one's beaten Prox.
no one's actually, so they're going to get to that point real quick. Rewind did it and to beat Nicholas offline at Evo. Now, this is an online win, but the reason why I'm speaking up on it is because I feel like it's valid. Pop Tart actually took out Scorpion Prox in an online Share IU TV on
Oh,
PC when they were here in the States.
we're
Pop Tart
counting
did
that.
take him out 3-1 with Code.
Damn.
So so I bring that up only because like the list is very short, and I know that is an online win, but the reason I brought it up is, like I said, it's still more the reasons they can bleed, and it was PC, so it was strong, and they were in the States and it was strong, and what's it called? That's pretty much the only person who was beating the Evo champ. Like to think about that is
Yeah,
crazy.
we
And
gotta,
Pop
we
Tart's
gotta.
not a slouch at all. He's also
Pop
made
Tart's good.
top. He was top 4 at the CEO 2021 actually. Definitely a very strong player. Been busy with school as of recently, but I feel like he is one of the stronger Kodals for sure. Like for sure.
Yeah, I mean the fact that you gotta go like, wait, he lost in the Shiraiu TV event. No shade, no shade on them. They run great events, but the fact that it's like, well, he did lose here, so we can
Yeah,
add that to the resume. Like,
yeah.
that's crazy.
But that's how short the list is, by the way.
Right. Yeah.
Like that is how short. But like if we do talk about technically, Scorpion Prox has never lost offline.
All right.
He's never
Let's.
has.
He has not, and let's get back to the set though, because I feel like Euphoring this top 8 has had a problem that I think of a lot of players in this game that have played a lot of characters where they kind of overcook it with their counter picks because I don't think Euphoring got any value out of Terminator in this entire top 8. Like I feel like he wanted Terminator because he wanted the teleport to kind of counter the really defensive play that Nicholas was going for, but Nicholas was not playing defensive against the Terminator. That Terminator has got ran down this top 8
Yeah.
and was not allowed to do anything.
Like the thing with the twins is that you realize at the highest level, there's a lot of polarizing matchups with Fusion. That's the
Hmm.
biggest thing. Like
They don't play
the,
bad matchups for sure.
they don't play mad matches at all. Like just like honestly, Kokoi and freaking Unjust don't do this. Are actually the same exact way. But the Chilean twins for sure. Like we see them usually like they play a lot of characters. They can play pretty much the whole cast.
Hmm.
But And but they do their homework too. I'm gonna speak on that actually with the later set against Prox and Gambler. But yeah, when it comes to like when I see the twins play Fujin, you can like I said at the highest level, you can tell that there's just a lot of polarizing matchups when it comes to that
Yeah.
man, and this is why we consider Fujin top one because of his movement and his tools and his utility that he has. It just makes some matchup abysmal, and that's like you want to go out with your main, but Term, oh my god, he cannot do anything. He can't. He
Yeah.
can't against Fujin.
Just got ran down. And
Like it's
then
not funny.
yeah, and then he gets on the Cabal, which I thought his Cabal was looking really nice. This top eight. I wish he played it more, but he was looking so good on it. And then he had this heartbreaking drop where he thought that Nicholas was airborne in the Nomad Dash stun. So he went for like a
Mhm.
standing three into like a hook slam, and he just wasn't airborne. So he just kind of kicked him on the floor and grabbed the air,
Mm,
and then it kind of went downhill from there. Yeah, but I do want to say though that against Cabal specifically, but just throughout the top eight, the Twins' use of instant jump normals to air is so sharp. They're so on point with it, especially with Fujin when you have the air specials equipped. You can kind of always get that kind of I don't know the air tornado. I don't know what you would call it. The wind
good to know.
turbine.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Just they're just so good at meeting people in the air.
It's just like It's just that character is just like we all knew Fujin was good until like I really feel like we all felt Fujin was good until we saw the twins and we realized like this character's actually like that was the biggest thing I believe like
Yeah.
when we saw the play for the first time we was like Jesus Christ, this character can do everything and everything very well. And they just show time and time again. It's like the matchup at the end of the day is who can take care of Fujin.
Yeah. I mean,
Like that's the thing.
yeah, he's one of those characters that they pop up in a lot of games, right? Where people look at them on paper and you go, yeah, they look like they could be top one, but like, man, who's really gonna play this character like so perfectly, right? Like, are we ever gonna really see what this character is fully capable of at the highest level before the game dies? And I think without the twins, I don't think we would, because I don't think anyone's really playing Fujin at their level right now. They look like, I mean, they're playing like they're Necros. You know what I mean? Like they're playing like they've been playing for like an extra 2 years.
Yes.
It's pretty crazy how good they are just at like their flawless blocks and their matchup knowledge. Like they don't get caught slacking on anything. I mean, they know what the mind games are for every character. They're always making, these high percentage plays against all these characters. Their punishes are so good. Like the amount of situations where it's like it's this weird awkward punish and like, "Oh, they knew to forward 3 to punish that." Like I didn't know that's what the punish would be, but they had it on deck. It's kind of crazy.
They make you like it's really scary when you have a when you play a person and they make you feel like every decision you do is wrong.
Dude,
And
I got to
oh yeah,
I
you actually had the pleasure of playing Prox. I mean
Yeah,
Prox, right?
I played Prox as my very first match in pools, and let me make the record straight. I may have lost 3-0, but I did get around. So, hold that.
Hold
Uh,
that.
but no, when I
Hold
was
that
playing
belief.
him, it was kind of crazy, right? Because I think for me, I was expecting somebody that was gonna play at like a mile a minute, right? Who's gonna force so many choices on me and just overwhelm me, right? But that's not really what happened. Like I felt kind of chill and neutral. Like I didn't feel like I was like outclassed or like out of my element in terms of just like obviously he was better at me at neutral, but it felt like manageable. But what was crazy to me is they don't let you get away with anything. Like I would go for like a amplified hell beam, and he was playing Liu Kang, and that's safe against him. But he just false blocks it on a reaction, flying kick punish. Like, oh, I'll do like a rock wall in neutral, flying kick punish on top. And it's like, oh, I'm playing against the computer. Like
Yes.
I can't leave gaps in my offense, and that's a lot of pressure that it puts on, knowing that I have to play perfectly, even though like I was getting whiff punishes on them, right? Like I was running my offense, um, like they were any other player, right? It wasn't this overwhelming like I feel so outclassed necessarily, even though like I was outclassed, but it was just they play so sharp that they don't you have to it gets in your head almost.
That, like you think about, I cannot make this certain, like you said,
Hmm.
like it make you feel like you're playing wrong for every decision you do.
Right.
And then that's when the mental game comes in. What I say, like offline, it really gets to you because when you play a level of a person of that caliber, if you're second guessing yourself already ahead, I feel like you lost the match. Like
Yeah.
if they're making you second guess any move you make, that's just nah. It's just like the mental defeat is already there. That means the physical is just soon to follow, and that's when it becomes really scary. And
Yeah.
they definitely have that over a lot of players right now. A lot.
All right, let's move on from gassing up the Twins, and let's gas up Ludi a little bit, because in this third match we got Ludi taking it over Sunio 3-0 in the Battle of Buffalo. Um and this
Battle of
was the
Buffalo.
Battle of Buffalo. This was the Cabal versus the RoboCop. And one thing I want to talk about in this set, we're gonna, like I said, like a lot of this, like I said at the beginning, a lot of these sets weren't super competitive, so it's gonna sound like we're just gassing up people that won. But I mean, throughout this tournament, I thought
It was
Ludi's
3-0.
yeah, I thought Ludi's conversions were on fucking point.
Yes.
Like every like weird hit like interaction where he does his nomad dash or he does his air dash and he gets like this weird angle, like where he gets like a jump kick or something to land. It's just like, oh, he's just got the pickup for that, and that's a lot of damage with this character. He didn't leave a lot of damage on the table. I felt.
At all. Definitely made sure they prioritize like anything, like optimize any situation. He made a spectacular comeback. I forgot who he was playing against. It might have been Sunio.
I think it was
Um,
euphoric.
oh no, yeah, you're.
Yeah.
Like he made a spectacular comeback on him. Like he was really playing out of his mind, and he was doing a great job. And like I say, he's one of those players where like I see constant improvement, and it just looks amazing every time I see. I love when I watch people play, and I just see constant improvement, and
Hmm.
that's definitely what I'm seeing from Luddy Ball is looking very polished
For
going into
sure.
CEO and Evo as well.
Yeah, and he brought new stuff this event. Like he was using, I think it was Cabal's forward three, which is like this big wind up kick that he has,
Yes,
and he was doing that off a lot of jump ins. And it's like you can if
plus
you,
six.
yeah, it's plus, and it launches, so you can hit confirm off the jump in with it. And there is a gap, right? Like you can't press and interrupt it off the jump in, but I mean no one was doing that. No one was trying that, and he did a great job mixing it up. Um, yeah, he did a great job baiting out flawless blocks, right? Like he was Euphorian was 0 for 3 and they're set at like trying to flawless block up to him off like a jump in to the point where I think he might have an OS. Like it was that crazy to me.
Straight
But
up OS.
yeah, but like in this set in particular, I thought one big thing for me was the way he was using the air buzzsaw. He was doing it at this like really low height to the point where anti-air gun was just not a factor. He was like out trading RoboCop at this kind of like mid-range distance. And I mean, RoboCop to me feels like a good pick on paper against Cabal because you have that amp cannon that can really shut down air dash. You have the anti-air gun. You have the air charge, right? To kind of stop aerial movement. But Ludi was just doing such a great job at using this air buzzsaw at like awkward ranges where it was kind of hard for RoboCop to contest him.
Man, it's tough, bro. It was tough. And this definitely was a case where I see Ludi and Sunio go back and forth a little bit when they play
Hmm.
against, especially in Slayers when they meet up in Slayers events
Yeah, I was not
and
expecting a
whatnot.
3-0.
I was expecting a 3-0 either because they play each other a decent amount. And Sunio does pretty well against all the characters that like very airborne in air mobility.
Hmm.
So I wasn't expecting that, but Luddy just looked like he was ready for prime time. He was doing his thing. But that was ridiculous. And then but yeah, moving on to the King Gambler.
I want to stay
Woody.
here. I want to stay here a little bit, actually. I'm sorry to
All right,
cut you
yours.
off because there's one more topic I want to talk about with Ludi and Cabal.
Okay.
Can we talk about how good interactables are for Cabal?
Actually, no, we're gonna move on. Okay, yeah, we got it. We got to move on,
Dude,
please.
dude, the invincible leaps as Cabal like are insane. Like you got it. Like I was watching
They're terrible.
game 1 and then Sunio lost and instantly went to character select and I just like yeah, you got to get off that stage. Like
Literally.
you can't give Cabal cuz there were so many moments where he like leaps off of them and then instantly air dashes. So he's like still pressuring you but uses that invincibility. That shit is wild on Cabal.
It's stupid. It really is stupid. It's like you have so many decisions, and that's not just with Cabal too, with Fusion, where he can get an instant tornado and
Mhm. Yeah,
like it's
vanilla
really
character.
bad.
Yeah, I think like Spawn in theory can do stuff with it.
Yeah,
It's pretty nuts.
it's just like brother. It's a lot of people have issues with the interactables, which is why I'm glad. Like, there's so many people that will quit and go right back into it, and then not even think about, yo, you do
You gotta
realize that the stage is
you
what's
gotta
messing you up.
think about the stage,
Like, the stage is what's truly messing you up right now,
right?
and you need to have stage.
Yeah, I feel like in MK people just don't think about it because they're like, oh, they're all universal. It's not like Injustice, but like, hey man, your character doesn't have a leap like that. Like you can't use, or hey, your character doesn't have a string that ticks into command grabs on hit and on block. Like, get off the stage, man. You don't want to play on the Shaolin tempo with the fire restand. Like, get off the stage. But people are stubborn, and characters like Cabal take advantage of that.
They'll learn. Hopefully, there's not interactables in the next game. I'm actually an advocate for that.
I'm a fan of that too. I love Injustice interactables because I think they're funny, but MK interactables aren't as funny, so I don't like them. You know what I mean?
Definitely need to get him out. We definitely need to
All
get him
right,
out.
all right. Well, let's move on to Gambler Too Easy then. After I had to bring that up.
Yeah.
And this
Gambler.
set started off with tragedy, with Too
Yeah.
Easy going
Misinput.
Avalanche. Like it has to be a mistake.
That misinput of the character select screen. I was like, Avalanche. As soon as I saw him do 4-2 ice ball, I'm like, yeah, he did not mean to pick up that variation.
Yeah, I mean
Did
he
not.
didn't. I don't even think he realized it until like the end of the set, right? Because he went for it multiple times trying to do 4-2 ice ball, and he just
Yeah.
died. So match one was hard to watch, kind of a wash to talk about, but Gambler, if you talk about the rest of the set, Gambler's offense is awesome. I love watching Gambler on sub because his offense is just so layered, right?
Truly.
It's not just a forward two. It's not just back three. He's mixing in a lot of these 1-2 shimmies, which is something that I don't see a lot of. I don't see enough Sub Zero players really abuse, right? Like, so his throw game, his 1-2 game was so good.
Truthfully, for me personally, I feel like people know the only subs I truly see utilize 2-1 is really him and Unjust. Like
Right.
2-1, those weird moves because, like, stand 2 is +2 on block, but the one comes so kind of late afterwards that, like, getting that Chris creeping ice is like really strong for them. And like, they really just throwing in so well and pressure as well. Like you just said, they're mixing that 2-1, 1-2, utilizing, like, especially goes up for the delay back three
Yeah.
because he's running double launcher.
Yeah. And
So
his
like, anything he does, he has to commit.
and his dashes in offense are really strong, right? Like he's not just gonna let forward two or back three rock. He'll like dash up into back three, right? He's putting all these delays in his pressure to kind of blow you up. And people talk about the forward two with Sub Zero like offline, right? And how you can react to it offline.
Hmm.
And I believe they're right in a vacuum. They are right that if you just like put someone in like a training mode and say block back three, block forward two, they can probably be very successful at it if they have good reactions. But when you have this offense it's so layered like this that where you're it's not just that. It's also the throw. It's also the 1-2. It's also the 2-1 like you were talking about. And he's not letting you get a feel of when the timing starts for the back forward two and the back three. It's like, oh, he can let it rock early or he can forward dash and then bring it in, right? Just these slight pauses that it kind of messes with your mental stack when you're fighting him, and that you can't just hone in on the forward two. Not to mention forward two is also like when you work the throw game in, like forward two works as a pretty good shimmy. Like that catches you trying to deal with throws too. So there's a lot more reasons why his forward twos are hitting rather than just they didn't react.
And my God, I'm gonna say it. That man's a master. He will double. He's using down one to the maximum of the abilities.
Right.
We know down one is 6 frames, and we know it's kind of stubby. But Gambler will literally dash up down one and then do another dash up and down one on
Six
block. He
frames.
doesn't.
6 frames.
He doesn't care, and he will use it to enforce. Like he will be annoying with the down one and then enforce the mix afterwards.
Yeah, and I do want to give a little props to Easy though, because I didn't take too many notes this match because like round one was kind of a wash, and then Gambler kind of did well, but but my next two notes were too easy flawless blocks, kind of nasty,
Yes.
and then my next note that I took was too easy flawless blocks are really nasty. Like
Yes.
my man was so sharp on it, it was kind of crazy.
Definitely leaving no room on the table when it comes to damage. Like he's taking up everything. He's very good at consistently flaws blocking jump ins, situations, and applying pressure. Gambler, on the other hand, like when it comes to the flaws blocks, he'll do up three a lot to enforce a mix up afterwards. But that man, too easy. He's doing up two, and he's getting that damage. He's maximizing. He's trying to flip the situation, trying to turn the tide. Unfortunately, though, he
Yeah.
is. I really feel like the Avalanche pick at the beginning really just messed up all his momentum.
Yeah, like that's a hard to recover from, just going into a set down one like that, essentially.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. So, you want to move on?
Yeah, we're gonna move on to the you know,
Euphoric and
well,
Ludi.
let's just do all of losers because yeah, we know what's going on up top side of things.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
know.
my notes are just in order of like when they're played.
Oh
So,
yeah.
Euphoric and Ludi, in losers. Euphoric ended up taking us 3-1 over Ludi.
Hmm.
Our first set that wasn't a 3-0. So shouts to
Yes.
Ludi for pulling that one out. Um, And this set was really fun for me because you got to see just how strong of an offense that Youth really does run. He kind of got ran over on the Twins, so you didn't see it as much. But in this set, Youth is such a command grab heavy player. That's what
Hmm.
stood out to me. Like my man was grabbing people.
He was gripping.
He was strangling, dude.
That man was gripping. All right, he was definitely gripping, trying to get the most of every situation. Um, then Ludi kind of caught on to that. You know, he was like, you know
Right.
what, I know how to deal with that, and he made those adjustments in that next match.
Yeah, he
And then we got
was.
the ball mirror.
Yeah, he was super command grab heavy, like really early on the set, and that kind of bit him near the end. Uh, and then yeah, we went to Cabal Mirror, and one thing that I took note is there was a lot of scramble situations, and Youth kind of came out on top in a lot of those.
Hmm.
Right
And
when things were weird, I feel like Youth really shined there. And man, but Ludi was looking so good to start, and then he got you've had this
the
crazy comeback, and he fatal
he ended
blowed his breakaway, and then it just looked like the entire dynamic of the set flipped.
the reason I give it like your former, I feel like was better on scramble simply because he plays turn. And he's used to scramble situations and making the most out of
Yeah,
anything because he's constantly has a teleport and keep moving and just see what his opponent does.
yeah,
So those
and Kano
fast and
and
Kano,
Kano, like those are two characters that really thrive in that spot.
yeah, like especially like he was started winning a lot of those like Davis having air to air conversions. I saw immediate both from both ends though. Immediate jump back twos into air gas to try to contest the air. Like that was so good, but like you said, I just feel like your foreign just got the better end of it because he's just a much better person when it comes to just being in a scramble, not just against Luddy, but in general. Like
Right.
he knows how to make the most of those situations.
Yeah, and like one thing that I took note with Ludi against Sunio is that Ludi's success rate on armor breakers with the hook slam was so good in that set, and it had its moments in this one, but Youth was just breaking away at a ton of like really awkward timings where you wouldn't expect it, right? Like Ludi would get like a down three anti air, and then an early break would come, and Youth would go like Ludi would go like 2-3 into hook slam, but he already broke away like way earlier, right? He was it was these weird spots where it wasn't necessarily like clean combos, just like these conversions where you might not be thinking anti breakaway like immediately. And Youth was getting a ton of mileage at doing that because he was getting up and he was punishing Ludi for it. Like there were so many times in a Cabal mirror where Youth breaking away at like the right time was giving him damage.
Yes. Like and then also Cabal being, in my opinion, he has a top 3 armor breaks in the game
Hmm.
because you have to guess between, are they going to do hook slam? I mean, hook slam or hook grab to extend the combo. Hook grab is what's going to give him the little pop up when they grab the ankle and slam you down for more damage. And then the hook slam is usually the ender, but also the armor break. So it's already at a point where if you guess wrong initially and they do hook grab and you don't break away, you're already holding a decent amount of damage. But
Right.
then if you do break and they go for hook slam, oh man, the crushing blow damage that you get from that is just like,
Yeah, and
it's just too much to look out for.
it's also one of those armor breakers that's always in play, right? Like
Yes.
there's a lot of characters that have an armor breaker. Like I'm thinking Scorpion, for instance, with his back three, where there are certain moments in the combo that are like kind of important moments, right? There's spots where you guarantee a lot of damage where the armor breaker is in play, but then if you get past that, there's spots where like yeah, an armor breaker just can't come here. Like there's
Yeah.
not like Melina has that problem where yeah, Melina has on theory in theory a really good armor break. She has a command grab that like, KBs on armor break, but there's just spots where it's just not in play. And if you know the matchup, you can always consistently break away from it. Cabal doesn't have that. Cabal can like that special, you can cancel into it off everything, and it's always fast enough to just catch someone.
And it can definitely catch you slipping, especially those situations where he has fatal blow because he has
Mm,
it's certain moment like when he does a 2-3 on the ground, you can fatal blow and but then they can break away in time, but they can't break away from that with a hook slam. So you got to read that as well. So it gets it's
right,
troublesome. It's definitely troublesome.
right. So, you have anything else you want to talk about that? Off that set?
Nah, that
Yeah.
set was nice. Big shout out to Luddy. Luddy definitely showed out though.
Oh yeah, big. I think he was super happy with this performance. I think getting that offline top eight was just a big monkey off his back, and I
Yeah.
expect I expect strong things from him going forward for sure.
Yes.
Next at Full Auto Gambler. This is another 3-0 in Gambler's favor, and Full Auto went the launcher variation against Sub, and that was
Yeah.
interesting.
Usually go like this is one of those moments where the for gambler side of things, he like I'm sorry, when he's loser side gambles is just a different type of animal. I expected kind of like 3-0s until he got the procs, like because I predicted him in top 3 at that point. Um,
Right.
and then like that case, Otto, I feel like he was a little like kind of beat himself up because he didn't do as well as he wanted to against the twins, and then he's going against one of the characters he hates the most as being sub as well. Yeah, it just turned into man,
Yeah,
man.
and
Go
Full
ahead.
Auto. Yeah, I mean, like I feel like whenever you're Full Auto and if you're switching to the launcher variation, like you're losing a lot of utility
Yes.
that Sindel brings, and then it's to me it's like if you're going launcher, like I don't like the matchup for you. You're losing so much of what Sindel does in neutral, giving up the air banshee and giving up the hair flip. That it's like, man, that this feels rough. Um, and also Gambler went the creeping ice against Too Easy, but he went double launcher in this set and throughout the rest of the tournament, and he didn't have that safe option off his 50-50, but the damage that he was getting meant he didn't have to go for many 50-50s, right? There's just so many spots where he just gets like he wasn't even. I don't even think he went through the 4-2 that much, like throughout. Like game two, I didn't see a single forward two. It was just really good feelings on the projectiles and good jump ins and just these. There's a lot of spots where he was waking up buttons where it was like an awkward time in the meaty, right? Like normally wake up buttons isn't the best idea just because if people get like a preferred knockdown, right, where they end in a string and they know what the knockdown timing is, they know what their hit advantage is, they have their kill frames ready to go, and the meaty is consistent. But in these spots where Full Auto would like drop his combo at the end, or like a breakaway would come at like a weird spot, and it's this weird position where if you're full auto, you don't really know what the hit advantage on this knockdown is. And then he would try to meaty, which is like a forward four, but that button's kind of slow in this situation. And Gambler was doing a great job at recognizing these kind of awkward timings on the knockdowns and was just waking up buttons and was killing him with that.
Yes, like man, wake up buttons is like. Whenever I see wake up buttons working consistently against a certain player, I'm like, you're not timing your meaties correctly, or
Yeah.
they just know that you're afraid on wake up,
I mean, that's what I was
and
talking
that
about. It's not even just like you're not timing it right. It's that he just doesn't know the timing because this is a
like
weird knockdown.
yeah,
Like
like
when you
brother,
drop
like
your combo, you don't necessarily know what the hit advantage is. You didn't lab that. You didn't lab what your meaty is when you drop your ender. You know,
so definitely a situation where wait, did he drop it or is he doing something? Yeah, and he was like, oh, he's doing something, and he kept on
right?
doing something. So yeah, that ended up auto falling right there.
Yeah,
So
Gambler had a sick comeback game one, dude. He had this
yeah,
crazy sequence where he did a great job. He outspaced the forward four, and he baited the up three. And then when he had him in the corner with Rising Ice, like that character hurts, dude.
man, double launcher is like a like Gambler low key has been like dropping creeping out, and this is also the reason why too. He's been playing a lot with the EU boys, and the EU boys have been using double launcher
Yeah,
for a
Foxy.
long time
Foxy
now.
used that a lot at like a We Play event for sure.
Like they've been just using double launcher, and then Gambler's like, "Why would you get rid of safety?" And then he just started seeing the light, and then I
The
started seeing him like just
damage.
full committing to 4-2 and just going for like mind you, off of the meter burn ice ball and then rising ice, you get a guarantee down too. So
Hmm.
that's guaranteed 30% for every touch that you can get with that character. That he's maximizing the damage at all times. So and then also like people's like, why is he going for the 4-2-4? I'm like, people forget that 4-2-4 is a KB. He's fishing for the KB that does another 30% on top of that. Like
Right.
it's just man, he's just starting to commit more, and you see the
Yeah.
damage just come in for him.
And it's not even just about the 50-50 damage. It's just every hit, right? Every ice ball trade you get, every just whiff punish you get on 1-2, right?
And three
So much
rising ice
damage. Yeah,
damage.
just
It's just
cash out
man.
for sure. I also really liked how a lot of Sub-Zero utility came into this set because Sindel's a character that kind of puts you in these awkward spacing situations, right? Where you block a forward four up three, and it's a lot of pushback, and it's just she's negative, but it's kind of hard to take advantage of that. And or like she does an EX scream, and you block it, but like yeah, she's negative, but she's like really far from you. How do you really check her on that? Gambler had a very simple option: slide to check, and once they respect slide, forward four to get your plus frames. And full auto wasn't challenging the forward four. He wasn't flawless blocking it when he came in. He wasn't interrupting it with like a 1-1. And forward four did work this set. I mean, every single time like he's in this weird spacing situation, just forward floor on plus. Guess.
Gotta guess.
Yeah.
You gotta guess between down one, throw, low, the low or the open. Like it's just so much. It's just so much you can do. Shimmy. Ugh. Character's crazy. All right. Character's crazy in the right hands, and
Yeah.
Gambler is definitely a person that has it in the right hands.
Yeah, and like I said, like full auto, his hit confirms, his execution just weren't looking what I expect from him this top eight.
Definitely
I
was
look
short.
forward to seeing him. I imagine he's going to CEO. I mean, he's a defending
Yes,
champion,
yes.
so I'd love to see him at CEO or at Evo if he's going to that. I expect him to kind of see this top eight and be like, I left some stuff on the table and kind of come in hungry in those future events. So yeah, I mean, props to Gambler, props to Otto on getting winners top eight. But next up, we got a weird set to talk about. The seventh set of the day. This was the winners finals between Scorpion, Props, and Nicholas, and this was a really hard set to analyze for me because
Bro, you actually looked at the Scorpion process that Nicholas said.
yeah, I have notes, but like it's hard to take it seriously.
So, okay, so this is my. I'm gonna put this out there. This is what I feel like. All right, so, when it comes to these two playing in winners finals, what I've noticed, is that, like I said, when at the end of the day, if they both make it to grand finals, I don't look at them which twin won. Chile won. But when it comes to the winners finals match, I've noticed a thing where they send Scorpion Procs down to fight fight the strong player. I've noticed that. They made it seem like they make it seem like it may be close in the winners finals, but usually I see Scorpion Procs go down to fight the strong. And that's what happened last year against Rewind.
Mm-hmm.
Scorpion Procs down to fight Rewind to take him out, and then he got taken out, and then he met his brother for the grand final. That's why the pop off was so big in that match versus and them winning the tournament, because that was the match they needed to win. So, and my theory is when the Twins are in winners finals, depending on who is there, but 9 times out of 10 they always do this. They usually send procs down to take out. They feel like the threat in the for the who's the threat in the tournament is send them down and then go back up. That's what I feel like it is.
Yeah,
That's my analysis on that them playing.
yeah, and like I would like I was watching his set and I was just like, one, I don't think the Nightwolf mirror is that entertaining. I'm not a fan.
Yes.
I don't like the Twins, not
They think it is.
Nightwolf. I'm not a fan of. It's obviously super high level, but it was so weird because I was like watching a set and it would be like, man, this set's kind of boring because like their Nightwolf's a little sloppy, right? Like because they would drop a lot of stuff. They would, I
They're
think,
playing. I don't think they're just playing, bro.
yeah, but
When I saw the twin do, because I played Nightwolf. I played Nightwolf. Freaking was Shaman. When I saw them do 1-1-1 full hit confirm, and they did not. You cannot. It doesn't combo when you do regular roll. You have to do meter burn for it to launch. They're too prominent. They're not missing that hit confirm. When I saw them
right,
just do 1-1-1 roll, I know they were messing around. I don't pay attention to that because I just know they're messing with each other. I
right.
play the character. I know what escape. There's nah. It's not that. They're playing around. That's all it is.
Yeah, I mean that's like I would watching your set and be like, man, this is kind of sloppy, and then they would randomly do just some insane high level thing and be like, whoa,
They're messing around.
like they were
They're
micro
making some
ducking everything, like they were not getting shimmied by 1-1, they were not getting hit by forward 2. It was kind of crazy. But yeah, like this was not a very serious set, and I really do wish that we could see the Twins just go all out against each other, right? Because we've seen that with other siblings, right? I don't think Unjust and Kukui do that. I don't think that like DJT and MIT they would meet in tournaments, and those were serious sets. Man, like
WC Ketchup and Mustard.
yeah,
You saw them actually. They were congrats to them. They were top 2 in Primal Rage, and we
yeah, that was
we got to
sick.
watch 2 twins fight each other in grand finals
Right.
over there too.
I
That's
mean,
actually twice in one turn. What is that's a record? Think
I
about that.
I don't
But
I'll have to look into that for sure. But like,
definitely.
I mean, nobody at this tournament was touching them, so I guess they get to do whatever they want, and we just gotta hold that. But I do like, these are like the two best players in the world, and I'm like halfway watching their sets. Like that's weird to me. But
I
yeah,
find it weird. I just find it like they're young. They're 2 boys that made it to grand finals in the big in a tournament. They just want to mess around and put on the show. That I don't see it weird at all. I just see them as like guys, like 2 kids that's having fun. Not saying that they're kind of young, but there's 2 kids that having fun. That's all I see it as. That's really what
right,
it comes down
right.
to me.
So you have anything else you want to talk about, like gameplay
No,
wise?
we're going to talk about Prox versus that man Gambles.
Euphorian Gambler first.
Oh, you're foreign game. I'm so sorry. I'm
Euphorian's still
moving
in
on
the
to that.
bracket, dude. He
You're
beat Ludi.
foreign
You don't
against on the
remember?
bracket. I'm sorry. I keep on forgetting about that. I'm sorry.
God, it's okay. This is more. You clearly want to talk about Gambler, so here's an extra Gambler game.
Yeah,
One where he did a lot better than against Crocs. This was 3-1 for Gambler over Youth, and again, Euphorian's Terminator is sick, but just play Kano, okay? Like Kano is just better Terminator. Again, he went Terminator and just kind of got ran down.
Here's the thing, though. Like, but you got to remember, he 3-0'd Gambler to send Gambler in
I
the losers
guess, yeah.
bracket before that,
I guess, yeah.
and he did it with turn. But the thing is, like I said, Gambler usually comes back a little bit stronger when it comes to losers, because it's very rare that I see him lose twice to a person, especially in the same bracket. So in that case, it was more so Gambler making the right reads and making the adjustments to when he was doing tackle, when he was doing launcher, and things like that. Did he switch? I can't remember. He did switch to Kano again at one point, right?
He went from Terminator, and he switched to Aaron Black next. And
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, he's an Aaron Black main. That's what character he started off with.
yeah,
Now with the Black pick, because he was running command grab with it, right?
yes, he
Yes.
was
Okay. So yeah,
running. He was running. I think it was basically 52 pickup.
yeah.
For the most part. But what I took out of that pick, right, was that I think he wanted offense off his mids. That's something I took note. Is that I think he wanted something like back two, where it's a mid, so I can check him and I can get my offense going, right? So that kind of helps you play, kind of deal with this kind of overwhelming offense, is knowing that you got this like 2-for-1 deal with your back two normal. Whereas Terminator kind of has to make other decisions. Like, do I want to force my offense or do I want to check him with my mids,
Yeah.
right? Terminator he can kind of cover multiple options there, and I think that's why he won it. And I mean, he got good value off that back too. Again, very command grab heavy player, so we saw a lot of command grabs, just like raw command grabs, just like dash up command grab, and it's like, dude, you are a grappler at
He
heart.
said 52 cards pick up with command grab pretty much, right? 'Cause he had
Yeah,
Scud Shot. He did have Scud Shot, right?
yeah, it was like scud shot, command grab,
Of course.
and
Scud Shot trying
probably
to
the
mitigate the
probably the armor breaker, but I don't know.
yeah, trying to mitigate the what's it called, the ice ball usage, which I really thought the Aaron was a good pick because he was like, okay, this is your main, of
Mm-hmm.
course.
Scud
You
shot.
have command grab, so you still have command grab to enforce mix, and you also have Scud Shot to get rid of ice ball to make him
Mm-hmm.
second. Well, not even second guess, just like kind of mitigate it when you can.
Yeah.
But that's when the random slides started coming in, and Gambler definitely threw in some random slides, and I was like, whoa,
Yeah,
my guy,
and
he was definitely
also
throwing it off.
like Aaron Black rifle pressure sucks. Like he
Yeah,
got no value out of it. Every time he pulled out the rifle, it was just like, oh, I'm accepting that I'm gonna get down for it here. You
yes.
know, please kick me in the toes. You know,
So I can get a 4-4 afterwards. Like, man.
like yeah. I don't know. I feel like Youth was overcooking a lot with his characters picks. You know, because
Yeah,
we see
it was
this.
one of
Yeah,
those. He has a good team. Like, he has Cabal, Aaron, and Term. That's definitely a good team of three to have. But
Kano.
yeah, in that case, it was like, oh yeah, Kano too. I'm sorry, Kano. I forgot about
Yeah,
Kano.
I mean we see this a
Um,
lot. I feel like with NRS players recently. I see it especially a lot with Sub Zero, right? Where I'll be watching a player playing in tournament, and then they'll go up 2-0, and then they'll lose a game, and then they're immediately switching to Sub Zero, and they're not playing Sub because their Sub is like super good, right? Or it's like their best character. They're playing him because they want to see if they could like RNG their way to a win, right? They want to cheese
and
him
it,
out
and,
with.
it, and it can work. Don't get me wrong.
It
It can definitely
can,
work.
but like I watched that and be like, I feel like this isn't the right call. You know, I don't think it works out as much. I don't think the success rate's crazy high on that. And you know, like I don't think character loyalty is the answer, right? I think you need to cover your if you want to win tournaments and go far, you need to cover all your options, right? But I don't know, man. Like the Terminator was just bait this top eight. And I feel like there's a lot of sets where it's like, what if you just played Cabal? You know? Like your
That'll be-
Cabal was looking so good. Like what if you just stuck with it?
yeah, it was one of those good points. Like, there's a reason. I always say there's a reason why I'm a spectator slash commentator versus the player. They're in that position for their reason, so I'll be like, let me just shut up and watch. But then there's always like like we're doing right now. There's always some questions that will raise. But
Yeah.
your foreign, as we just like as we said, was definitely a player, definitely on the radar that I always knew was strong, and I know he shocked a couple people with his performance, but he's definitely going to get better from here.
All
But
right.
Gambler was on a mission, man. Just on a mission.
Yeah, no, I mean I wasn't surprised by you. I think he's super strong. He's got some of the best offense in the scene. I look forward to seeing it in MK1. But now we got what I think what was really the grand finals for a lot of people, Prox versus Gambler. Prox ended up taking us 3-1, and Prox went Codal here. You want to talk about that pick for a bit?
Yes, yes. I'm going to talk about this really quickly. So, this is why I say the twins are like, they're not just good, they are smart. Like, they are intelligent. Gambler hates command grab characters. The irony. He has to guess on mix, and he has to deal with mix, and he cannot stand command grab characters. And he has, I'm not gonna say historically has struggled with Kotal, but you definitely see when he has a Kotal on his path, it's really a 50-50 chance if he's gonna beat him or not. And that's definitely why Prox, everyone's like, why not Fusion in this matchup? No, 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 no. Prox knows Prox and Nicholas, they do their homework and they definitely knew that Gambler does not like command grab characters. Is the exact reason why they picked Kotal in that matchup. And you saw Gambler. This is the blessing and the curse about having good defense. Gambler was blocking too much. That's why the command grabs were
Mm-hmm.
working. Gambler is very good at tech and throws. And is very strong. Like as much you said, like he has very strong offense with sub. His defense is just as good. But the problem with command grab characters is when you have that good of defense, guess what? You can't tech a command grab, especially a mid one.
Right.
So that was the issue that he was running into in that matchup and resulting in a 3-1 victory for Prox.
Yeah, I mean, like I had that same problem too with command grabs, right? Where in order, especially in this game, where command grabs come after ticks, right? That whenever you kind of read one and it doesn't come, you feel like an idiot, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you try to like jump out of a command grab and they just like finish their string and you just got hit, you feel so stupid, you know? That it's rough, right? In this set, like I mean, this is a set where the mobility I think really came back to play, right, with Prox. And because Gambler, I think game one was kind of whiffing, like a mile away. Like he would be throwing out back 1-4. Prox ain't even in the same zip code, right? And then he like wave dashes across the border to just smack the shit out of him. And then we saw, I think later on the sets where Gambler made the adjustment to like, okay, we're gonna chill with these like very high committal buttons in neutral. He used a lot more low pokes, down three, down four, down one, right, in neutral to kind of check his movement, but also not kind of leaving him out there as much.
It was harassment. It was harassment. Like I said, me like I was saying that Gambler was at the Sonic and Hayate didn't end up playing in the bracket. I was like Gambler has the highest chance of beating a twin, and he definitely showed it. But like it, they just know they do their homework on these players. They really do.
Right,
They
right.
really do.
And if we want to compare, talk about Gambler in this set compared to the full auto set, one thing we mentioned in that is that Gambler was getting uber value out of forward four with sub,
Mhm.
right? Prox wasn't having it, right? Prox,
No.
every time forward four came out, just 1-2, right? Just punch him in the face as soon as he saw it.
Reacting, poking, down for and back, flawless blocking, all of it. Not letting it happen. Like
Right.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I mean, Prox is also like he again these scramble situations. This is one of the things I think makes Sonic Fox so good, is that they are so good at these scramble situations. Prox is the same way. I mean, in these like really like tense situations where like a small hit can like one hit, one down one could kill him. Prox is chilling, my man. He is just chilling. He's just gonna wait for the jump, wait for Gambler to try to mash out a cheeky poke, and he's just gonna check him. He's just gonna make the smart play, and that's a huge skill to have to, not panic in these situations and just hit the right buttons.
Hmm. Like it, the scramble is just a case where like it's really divides you as a player in my opinion because you have to realize not all the times you're going to be in control in the neutral. So if you are a person that can make control happen in the neutral and you're naturally used to being in those situations, it defies you. And like you just said, like with Sonic, I feel like they really excel in that is because like they play Skullgirls. So they're always in a motion where like who's gonna get the hit, and which is why they make the most of it. And scramble situations are, in my opinion, almost not talked about enough in FGC and fighting games in general because it really, when things are out of control, it was really just up to you to get them in control and not letting your nerves take over. You know.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy like when you're in a spot where as the aggressor, you only need to land like a down one to kill. Like anything will kill. And then like you got to like as a player, you can't let that, change your approach as much. You can't let it just like
Oh,
I feel like players get tunnel vision a ton of times. I'm guilty of this, right? Just getting tunnel vision when I only need 1%, right? I only need to touch them once, and you end up just doing stupid shit. And when you
yep.
have a player like Prox who's not panicking, who's playing the scramble situations like any other situation, he's gonna catch you for that. And that kind of that there was that heartbreaking loss for Gambler, and then Prox ends up taking a set 3-1.
Can happen to you.
Yeah.
It can happen to you, and it was unfortunate, but
Okay, and now we're to the Twins Grand Finals. Um, Prox takes it 3-1 in and in the reset, Prox takes it 3-2. Um, the first set, let's talk about that. It was pretty troll. But I will say I think the Joker and Cages are more entertaining than Nightwolf. I had more
definitely.
fun watching that set. And also let me read off my next three notes that I took. Procs flawless blocks actually make my brain hurt. My next note was, what the fuck are these flawless blocks? My god. And then my next note was, someone needs to examine Proc's brain because my god, what the fuck are these flawless blocks?
There was I forgot what situation it was. A string had, I think they wave dashed backwards to make a string whiff and got to the perfect frame. Like I was like, brother, you did not wave dash the position you wanted to so you can get this proper conversion. Like, my
It's
God.
silly. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely the second set they kind of turned up a little bit, but like,
yeah,
man, it was really watching them play. Like they do troll a lot when they end up playing
hmm
each other, but they also always show me something I've never seen before.
right,
That
for
that is
sure. It
something that
feels like
always,
it feels like a show match almost.
like that's something you brought up. You like they have these moments where they just like they don't look like they're just playing for real. They're not playing for real at all.
Yeah.
I mean, they show some really high level
Yeah,
thing.
and then you
High
get
level,
and then you get just like jump scared by the sickest flawless block you've ever seen.
I'm like, bro, I'm like, you 9 times out of 10, you didn't even know that was possible. Or you didn't know that they can
hmm
do that,
hmm
but they show signs of like, whoa, yeah, that works. And they have also like, and they have literally come up with some ideas and stuff in the community or whatnot when it comes to that. But yeah, as we know, like when like I said, like I told you guys, when I see twins in grand finals, I'm like, they won. Is
Yeah.
I don't really look at which twin got it over the other
Yeah.
to they won.
I felt I deep down I felt like they were gonna Prox was gonna win because Nicholas won last year.
Yeah.
That was
They
my
want to have
thinking.
turns. They just want to have turns of having a trophy. That's all it
Yeah,
is.
I think Nicholas is gonna win CEO and Evo now, cause
Probably.
but
And this is
yeah. Also like I kind of like Prox Cage. I kind of like it. I like it way more than his Nightwolf.
it.
I wish he'd play. I think he could play Cage in tournament in bracket. Um, but what I really like is in this reset, Nicholas busted out the Fujin. And the Fujin's so sick. I love the Fujin.
Fujin.
I also
Fujin,
have
Fujin.
this note. Wait, did Prox just follow his block a push and punish with Shadow Kick? So I'm still blown away by these flawless blocks.
Flawless box is just ridiculous. The boys, the twins, like we said, are the ones to beat, and they are just at this level where I'm just like, brother,
Yeah,
we need, we
yeah,
need, we need a
um,
hero.
yeah. Like I honestly don't see the Twins losing a major until MK1.
You definitely could say the same thing.
Yeah. I will say I do feel like in this game four, I think Nicholas kind of trolled. He was on tournament point and he had Prox cornered with like 1% health and he had no offensive bar and he didn't. He just like backdashed away and he got caught by a flying kick. Like he didn't even try to pressure him. I thought that was kind of troll. It felt maybe a little throwing to get a game five, but I don't know. We're yeah. It's just like they're so good and like no one touches them and they just kind of coast their way to these grand finals appearances. So like I can't even get mad at them for kind of putting on a show and not necessarily sweating it out against each other, but I do wish we could see these two guys in these situations really duke it out because I love watching the best players play.
Yeah, definitely would be something that would be good to watch. It'd be good to watch. Like we just gotta. I hope Evo is the reason why I'm kind of I know they're most likely going to CEO the Twins, but like Evo is where the most competition is going to be, and I'm hoping like
Right.
I want to see some bloodshed. I really do.
I think there's definitely gonna be people to challenge them at Evo. I mean, Evo we didn't see a Twins grand finals. We saw Rewind and Prox in grand finals.
Hmm.
Um, and those sets were awesome. I loved seeing Rewind against them. I love seeing Sonic against them. I think there's definitely gonna be people at Evo that are gonna challenge them. So yeah, I mean that's anything else you want to talk about with this top eight?
No, the top eight is solidified. But just this is just more so like really like you guys know that the grand scheme of things is winning Evo. Evo is for the $10,000 for first place, $25,000 pot. If anything, these tournaments right here, like especially for like Auto and Gambler, were downloads. Like to see what do I
Right.
need to do right, what do I need to do wrong. Like in my opinion, like I wouldn't even look at this as a loss. I just look at this as setup for what do I need to do when I get to Evo because Evo is a place where you want to do well at.
Right. We'll talk about those prize pools too later on. But first, there was an MKX side bracket that was ran at Combo Breaker, and this is an NRS competitive podcast, so I want to talk about it, especially since you and I had the honor to commentate the top four for this
Mm-hmm.
event, and we're not going to go through it the same way we went through MK11. Like I don't have 4 pages of notes like I do with the MK11 top eight,
Mm-hmm.
but I just want to talk about like it as like a side tournament, right? Because like shout out to Too Easy, who ran this. I wish he wasn't in Multiverse's top 16 while he was running it, but what's done is done.
Got
Uh,
seven in multiverses by the way too, so big shout out to
yeah,
Easy.
he's too godlike. It's unfortunate, but this side bracket was a lot of fun. We got to be on stream, and of course we got to commentate. Check it out the VOD if you guys haven't. If you want to hear us talk more.
So net battles,
Yes, sir.
net
Yes,
battles quit.
sir. We did well, especially if you want to see Tento's shaved chin.
Oh my god, you were making fun of me for that the whole time.
Yeah,
Why
they
did you
were.
say?
They were.
Oh my god.
Uh, but yeah, like I'm not gonna pretend like I'm a big fan of MKX. But there's still some pretty high level play. It was awesome to see Gambler, kind of take it with like a really good adjustments going into grand finals against Too Easy. It was also sick to see Parsa get a medal in
Yes.
MKX, right? Because I mean Parsa, we didn't really talk about the top 24 or pool play, but Parsa was a guy who was playing really well and has been kind of like he's kind of like just missed top eights at a lot of events that he's been going to.
Yes. He had a ninth place Kurtz for the longest.
Yeah, and it's nice to see that he comes to this event, like even if it's an MKX medal, he still is getting a medal with some pretty clean triboard play. Like I'm not a big Cyrex fan because I I don't like it when a character makes me waste like 15 minutes for a combo to end and it does like
Man,
28%. Like I feel like Cyrex is the kind of character kind of wastes my time, but he had some cool stuff with him,
he
so
did.
I'll let it slide just this once. Uh,
Definitely did. Yeah, the top four over there was a great showing. Gambler, once again, like I said, he was in losers bracket. He was in winners finals. Too Easy was him down, and then he just tore through losers, and then he won 6-1 over 6-1 and 3-0 in the reset, and then 3-1 after the reset. So that was crazy. 3-0 for the reset, I mean, and 3-1 after the reset. It was crazy. So it was definitely a good showing. I'm happy for Parsley, like you just said, getting the medal for the first time. And really just a good showing over there because like MKX is still like a game that a lot of people still love and like. I'm sorry, Bacon. It just is. People still like the game. I
it's okay.
apologize.
It's okay.
But we definitely see it a lot more, especially on these offlines where we have sides because we had an MKX side tournament at Evo as well. Like it was just we constantly see it. We do constantly see it.
Yeah, I mean MKX is obviously a super polarizing game in the community, but when a game is super polarizing, that means that a lot of people really hate it, and then a lot of people really love it. Uh, so it was just so like I can acknowledge that like I can see why people like the game. I can see and I still like even if it's a game I don't like, I still enjoy watching something being played at super high levels. So like like I always had a lot of fun on the mic watching people do silly stuff at MKX and being like, man, I'm glad I'm not playing.
Yeah, it's always fun to watch MKX and not get mixed. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, as a
Like,
spectator, MKX is sick. You're just chilling and just watching mayhem. Uh, and
'cause
yeah,
boy, the people watching people get mixed is just like, oh, it's fun. Getting mixed is like, brother, get me away from this.
please no run in MK1. Please, please, Paulo.
It's gonna be one.
I don't know. Paulo, no, Paulo's a real one. I trust him.
All
Paulo's
right.
Paulo's been good to me. Okay, Paulo's been good to me.
Okay.
All right,
Good, bud.
after Cetrion's patch experiences throughout MK11, I have total faith in Paulo.
Okay, man. Okay. Yeah,
Freaking
MKX was great. Honestly, just Combat Break overall was just a great tournament experience. I strongly recommend you guys, if you have not been to an offline, please go to one. If you can make it to Combat Breaker next year, it's always during Memorial Day weekend, pretty much the last weekend of May. Try to come out, please. It's a great time. It truly is.
yeah, but let's talk about some drama. Some
Um,
drama, okay? Because there has been some Twitter discourse going on about prize pools at Combo Breaker,
uh,
right? And a lot of players have been talking about, why they didn't travel, right? Because the prize pool wasn't worth it for them to attend. And I I don't know what your opinion is on this. We haven't talked about this, but I think this is the silliest discourse ever, and I don't like it.
for me personally, when it comes to prize pool and whatnot, if you're in an FGC to look for money, you're in the wrong fucking place.
Play League, play
I'm,
Valorant.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Like, if you guys are looking for money here, you're in the wrong fucking place. This is a place where we just play for, like,
Yeah,
back in the day, we played for just the glory and just to have fun and hang out with the friends. Now we have this, I just feel like a newer generation where they always just trying to look for money and
I
these
mean,
things where I'm like, you're in the wrong place for money, my
no,
guy.
no.
I apologize.
I'm gonna defend them on this though, right? Because obviously everyone's financial situation is different, right? You can't
Yes.
justify traveling traveling to every event for a lot of people,
Yeah, of course.
especially when we're a spot where a lot of our top players aren't sponsored,
Yeah.
right? Like Rewind is one who was talking about this. I mean, Rewind's not sponsored right now.
Yeah.
It would be coming out of his pocket, and he's a player capable of winning an event. He's someone where the prize pool would impact his decision, as
Yeah.
he can reasonably
100%.
assume he's going to be get a top three finish. But you know, but like if it's not worth it for him financially, like if someone says like, yeah, I didn't go to this event because money, I'm like, yeah, cool, I get it. You
Yeah,
know,
completely.
because we're at a point in the game in this game's life where we're not the biggest game, right? We are
Exactly.
a we're you're going there because you want to hang out with the community and you want to compete offline, right? You're going there for the experience. And there are some talks. Like I think Aztec put out like a poll saying like, would you pay extra in an entrance fee for the prize pool? And my thoughts on that were like, I don't think that's the right way to go about it, right? I
Yeah,
think we
no.
kind of need to accept the fact that MK11 is at a point right now in its life where you can't force money into it like that.
Hmm.
Where you it's just that's not what the game.
That's not the
It's
way.
not that's the point. MK1's going to drop and you're going to make some money off that. But if you want to make money in the
Definitely.
FGC, you make money through content creation. You make money as a streamer, right?
Exactly.
Not necessarily as a tournament player. Um, and if you were to raise these entrance fees, right, for these games, I just feel like that would hurt turnout a lot because you'd have maybe it wouldn't hurt someone that's like going for MK. Like me personally, I like a 10 extra bucks for on a game fee for MK11 would not stop me because I was there to play MK11. But we also have players that show up and are not projected to get top 8, right? We had like 90 people in our bracket. A lot of
Yep.
them were there and it was like, yeah, I'm going to enter Strive, I'm going to enter Tekken, and I'm going to enter MK11, right? But all of a sudden, if the game fee jumps from like $10 to $20 for all those games, it's like I gotta drop a game, and that hurts. That hurts the whole scene. That hurts the entire FGC
Truthfully.
when you have it's like so our numbers would go down like that, and I'm not in the interest of kind of gatekeeping people out of our events. I want the most people to play. That's to me is what I want because I go to these events for the community aspect, and the prize pool drama, like really only affects like 7 people in the world
Literally.
that there are 7 people in the world that can look at a tournament and go and like actually like think like, yeah, like I'll probably win this. What's the money gonna look like? You know?
Exactly. And that's the case with like rewind those top players. Like
Right.
to them, like I said, um I agree with you in that regard of I was speaking in general, but like I agree with you in regard of if you look at a player from the perspective of I can probably win this tournament, but is it worth for me to fly out there? Would I be in a
Yep.
negative if I fly out and win? Yes. In that regard, save your money. And also MK11 is in a year, this is a year 4 state. We're
Mm-hmm.
not really getting that much support for the game. People are definitely waiting for MK1 where we will get more support and they'll be more likely to like when you have a pro competition, like for example,
Exactly the tour.
Tekken 7 was up there for Combo Breaker, and they're doing another. It's a Tekken World Tour. That was a master event. We saw. I did not know that many international players was coming either because I'm still in the fact of COVID is now up, releasing, and it's actually just been actually said worldwide that it's actually we're over the pandemic stage. So people are traveling again, and I did not expect that many international players to be at that event. But I'm not used to the fact that we're coming out of the COVID stage. So a lot of people showed up for that, and that's because like the game is in the active state of Tekken World Tour. Points are on the line, money is on the line, so it's a lot more competition. Whereas MK, as Bacon just explained, we're in a state where we don't have a pro tour, we don't have any really support going on right now. But MK1 is coming out, so a lot of these pro players are just literally just waiting for that. So yeah,
Yeah, and when MK1 drops and the pro tour gets kicked off again, we're gonna see all these top players travel. But I don't blame someone for not wanting to spend money out of their own pocket to travel for
exactly.
an event, knowing that MK1 is across the corner, right, in just a few months. Like if someone told me like, yeah, I would have loved to go on a Combo Breaker sick, but I'd rather go to ECT or I'd rather go to Vianality, right? Those kind of first few majors coming into MK1's release, I'm gonna be like, yeah, say no more. I get it. Like I'm not gonna be able to go to CEO. I'm not gonna be able to go to Evo because of like money reasons, right?
Mhm.
And that's the reality for a lot of people. I also want to say though, I saw players posting like their PayPal's screenshots of like the money they won, and like I'm sorry if you get seventh or like fifth, like and you don't make bank, like tough man. Like I don't like you
Yeah,
didn't
that
win.
was really
You
it was
didn't
kind of
win. You didn't win.
yeah,
What
that was
bag
kind of
were you
for me.
expecting? You got
I'm
fifth in
not
a
gonna lie.
90-man bracket. Like I'm sorry. you know?
Like I definitely agree with you in that regard. Like it's I'm like that was kind of cringe.
It's kind of corny.
It's just it's you didn't win the tournament, and we're in year 4 of the game,
Right.
not getting support.
Right. Like it
It's
shouldn't be a
really it's
surprise.
like I said, that's my regard of like if you're in this for money wise like that, you're
Mhm.
kind of in the wrong aspect. For if you're looking for MK11 right now, that's not the thing you should be looking
Yeah,
for. Like
if you're traveling to an event right now for MK11, you're going for the community aspect and because you want to compete. You like
and
you
experiences
want to
as well.
have fun, right? And I would say that yeah, like I would tell that to people, if you're going to a major, go enjoy yourself. Go have a good ass time. Um, and when the pro tour kicks off, then we can talk about money. Then we can be like headstrong and like, all right, we're trying to get this bag. But uh, I don't think the NRS scene is big enough to have full-time NRS players unless it's in the content creator space. You know, if you're a pro player and you're competing at all these events and you're complaining about the bag you're not getting, but you're also not streaming, right? You're not doing YouTube. Like
Yeah,
you're fumbling your own bag at that point
you're
because that's how you
fumbling
make
on.
money in FGC. You build your
Yeah,
brand through competing at these tournaments, so people see it, they follow you, and they want to see you compete. And then you say, "Hey, come to my stream. Come sub."
exactly right there. You literally like you should look at tournaments as branding. That's all it is. You should use a tournament to uplift your
Mhm.
stream. Wear some merch on the thing. Make sure you like if you can tell the commentators or like people like when you make top 8, what's your what's your freaking what's it called? What do you do on Twitch or whatnot? And like you can talk to if you know a commentator is doing top 8 or top 16 or
Yeah,
something like that, you can talk to them and
we'll plug
they'll
you.
like. I'm pretty sure it's no problem at all. Like
Yeah,
it's not.
FGC loves to promote their own. You know. Um.
Should
So
definitely be doing that. Like Baker just said, like
yeah.
you're supposed to, you go to events to advertise yourself. And like, for example, I was in Rewind stream when he came back from Evo, and he was like, yeah, Evo wasn't like the best money wise. He's like, but I got so many followers on Twitter and Twitch, and like his brand has grown. His YouTube has grown too. His YouTube is he's getting up there. Like I'm pretty sure he's at like past the 25K mark. Like
For
he's
sure.
up there when it comes to content and whatnot. So it's about like your branding, and that's exactly what you do. Like
Yeah.
you perform well at a tournament, and you're supposed to stream right afterward. That's why like a person like Gambler's about to hit partner really soon on he just hit partner on YouTube. He's about to hit partner on Twitch. Why? Because he comes out to these events and he's showing the brand. He's a likable guy. He's doing great in tournaments, and his brand is just gonna continue to grow.
Right. For sure. Uh. Yeah. Like yeah. If you're playing year 4 MK11, it's the bag's just not there for competing right now. You need to find alternate revenue streams in the community if you want to make money through the community right now. But yeah, until the Pro Tour comes, until big sponsors start coming back into the scene and the prize pools get bigger, this is just like this is the reality of the game. Is that you're competing for to the love of the game and the community. And yeah, anything else you want to talk about Tento before we call it a podcast?
Feel like it's a good way to end it. Like Combo Breaker, like overall, like was a great event. Like for me personally, despite everything we was talking about, like if you guys can come out, of course, if you can take the time out and afford it, please like just come for the experience. Like Combo Breaker
Yeah.
is an experience to like I met side note, I met one of my friends that I've been playing
Mm-hmm.
Call of Duty with since 7th grade at
Yeah,
Combo
the
Breaker
one that
this year.
got owned in the auction tournament.
Oh my,
You want to
who
talk
got
about you want to talk about auction tournaments for a little bit, actually?
wait, who got owned in Octon tournament?
Your friend?
No, he didn't.
He didn't make it to the auction tournament, but he got owned in the bidding process.
Oh, was Zato? Oh, yeah, I remember. I
All right,
remember.
let's. You want to talk about auction events for a little? Okay,
We can talk about
let's go on a
Octon.
tangent. Let's go on a tangent. Okay, so for those that know, Combo Breaker has these events called auction tournaments,
The
right?
best thing.
They're
It's the best
awesome.
thing.
So basically, the way it works is that they get a guy with a mic gets on stage and they pull a name out of a hat for like a character, right? So like we watched like part of the Strive auction event, and they pull a character out and be like, all right, Zato, and then they start bidding on it, and people just raise their hands and bid, and money gets high, right? And there's a lot of events like this, and one thing I learned is that FGC players don't understand how money works because the economy in these auction events were so silly. Okay, there was a Biken got purchased for $20. All right,
Jesus.
like
If you guys do not know about biking, that is a strong
that's a
character.
bargain. I wasn't like a $10 testament, and
Eno didn't even get picked.
Eno was pulled out of the bag and no one raised a hand. She got
Like,
put back in. No one
God.
bid. No one wanted $1 for Eno.
Also,
And
another small tangent here. I almost got Akuma in Tekken 7 for $7. By the way,
$7.
So go
Dude,
ahead.
Akuma killed the game. Like,
I legit almost got that character for $7.
dude, I also want to talk about the Smash Bros. One because I'm sorry, but the Ultimate community had an embarrassing performance in the auction. Okay,
Jesus.
because the way that one worked is they were doing Squad Strike, right? Which is basically instead of stocks, every stock's a unique character. So they would bid off teams of 3, right? And I have never seen a group of people get baited so hard over and over. They were like goldfish. Okay, there was I swear because what they would do is they wouldn't bid off the teams. They would bid off a team name, and you had to infer who was on the team, right? But like the first team that was bid off was Mean Girls, and it had Daisy, Zelda, and Wendy on the team, right? And you're like, all right, I get that. But then they would do like a bunch of baits. Like they had fighting game guest characters with a category. And if you guys play Smash, like Ryu, Ken, Kazuya, Terry, they're all in the game. But this pack was Terry, Link, and Pac-Man, who have all been guest characters in fighting games. But it's like they got baited, right? And this happened so much. Like Need for Speed was a team that got auctioned off, and this dude bid on it, and Sonic wasn't on the team, and my man was devastated. And this kept happening, and then TK Breezy gets on the mic and he says, "Team top tiers," and like animals, these fucking baboons start bidding like crazy, like they're getting Steve. They spend like $100 on team top tiers. You want to know who was on team top tiers?
Tell them
Fox,
big.
Fox, Pikachu, Meta Knight. Okay,
He called Meta Knight, by the way.
I called
Oh man, I
Fox
think he
too.
called Meta Knight.
I
I think he
called
called
I
Fox.
my prediction was Fox, Meta Knight, Bayonetta, but I think they went Pikachu because ESAM memes. Uh, and like this person was so shocked that he didn't get like Steve, Pyramithra, and like Wolf or something like that. He couldn't believe it. And it's like he got baited so hard. Like, what are you doing? You had Leffen. He had $210 Happy Chaos.
$210 for freaking Happy
God,
Chaos. He was in a
did
horror
he
Umi show.
did he win? I don't remember.
I actually did not find out he almost lost a pork laser who freaking
Shout
paid
outs,
$20.
dude. Shout outs, dude. That was awesome.
That's a pork laser though. No cap.
We had there was your friend that got bodied, where they'd be like, "All right, it's
God,
Chip," and then your
Star
friend raised a
Destroyer.
hand like $25, like hand up, and then Micho just says 100, and your friend
And
just sat down.
that down.
My man was quiet.
My man Star Destroyer got body.
Bro, she wins Evo and then she's just walking around with money. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, like I ain't gonna lie to you. Me and Bacon were people where I did a little bit more
You
where
were you were
I would just
instigating.
raise my hand to raise the price. I
Could
was
not
not
be me.
intending to pay for any character, but I
Could
just
not be
really
me.
raised my hand.
I gotta fight my intrusive thoughts when I'm in an auction tournament. I gotta keep my
Nah,
hand
I did
down.
it. I did it. I
You're
rose I rose the character up to like $40
you're
just
crazy,
because.
dude. You were bidding on like a fucking like characters. I just looked over to you and like you don't have a Nago.
I
Like
don't even
sit
play the
down.
game. I don't even play the game. The only character I play in that game is Kai. I don't even play the game. But yeah, I definitely raise it. Same thing with over there in Tekken. I definitely raise a pool up Tekken because I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't play Tekken too much either, but I definitely did not know a single thing about Akuma. But the fact that I was about to get that man for $7,
It was a
it's like,
bargain. It was too cheap. Yeah, it would be stupid not to take that deal.
man, I was gonna throw some Hadoukens and freaking try to do a
Yeah,
DP
yeah.
in there
You
for
play
sure.
Street Fighter. You can just play a 2D character. I'm sure it'll be
I
fun.
definitely was. It's gonna be
All right.
hilarious.
Well, that was fun. Let's wrap this up. Thanks for
Hey,
listening to the second episode. In regards to the future, I think we're definitely gonna our next show is definitely gonna be MK1. It's definitely gonna be after the gameplay reveal, talking about that and
yeah,
breaking that down. That's a lock.
we'll probably actually have the video up and whatnot. Maybe we'll have
Don't
a video up and we'll just do like a PowerPoint and pointing things out.
I don't. You're making promises that I didn't plan on making, but
Hey,
yeah,
we
yeah,
could
yeah,
probably
yeah.
get it done, right?
We'll. Our this is news to me, but yeah, well, if Tento's gonna make that promise, I guess we're gonna do that.
We're
Um,
gonna see if they can make that happen. Okay,
we can't make Tento a liar.
we're
Uh,
gonna see.
I also want to do stuff for CEO. Maybe that involves a preview and a recap, but definitely a recap at least. And I also want to do episodes that aren't just about the news, right? I want to do kind of stuff where we're just talking generally about the scene,
Okay.
and so if you guys have any topics you would be interested in covering that are more broad, that'd be super. I'd be interested. But you can definitely
Oh, we'll be
expect
having
us.
guests here soon, by the way, too.
We're gonna definitely gonna reach out to some people, see if we can get their thoughts on some topics. Uh, but yeah, like definitely expect us whenever tournaments are around or when big MK1 news drops. We'll definitely be talking about that. But yeah, anything else you want to say to them, Tento?
Hey, you guys, make sure you wash your hands, stay safe, and hug those around you. Make sure you tell them you love them. That's
Yeah,
it from us.
yeah, and happy Pride, everyone.
Yep.
Uh,
Happy Pride. It's Pride Month. Yeah.
it is, yes, sir. Shout outs, dude. And take care, everyone, and stay safe.